just okay, everybody. Welcome back. So we head into the last hour. Take a little break. Hopefully, we got our stream back up and we can regain our followers that we had. Sorry about that. We had to reboot the stream. Hopefully, we can get everybody back and we can share this on our Instagram. We still have at least one more really important guest, one of the top players in the country, joining us in a little bit, and we're going to go through some of our awards, I guess, if you will, and we're going to go through our team rankings. It's the only, I guess, like we talked about earlier, our only kind of rankings that we do here on VB Adrenaline, and it's because it's the average of our team ratings, if you will, when we average all of the athlete signing class PPVs, and we'll show you our website, which we're pretty proud of, I guess, and we put quite a bit of money in upgrading that. And so when you take a look, here is the class of 2025 as it sits right now. And so as we go through this again, and we talked about it earlier, you can see this. This is free for everybody just to come and view the overall standings of 25. And again, as we worked on this in uploading all of the athletes for 2025 and their PPVs, we only were able to upload the Power 4 conferences. We started entering and evaluating athletes at the end of the recruitment season with the 2025s. And we had what we felt was a pretty good grasp of most of the Power 4 commitments. And so we felt fairly accurate with our evaluations for the Power 4 conferences. We did not feel accurate with the some of the mid-major conferences, and again, that's not what we want to be about, is guessing. And so we cut it off there for this year and feel much more accurate with our 26s. And so with the 26s and beyond, we have everybody in Division I that you can go and check out, and it has all of their commitments, all of the PPVs and average. And again, ours are ranked and sorted by average PPV of the entire class. Total PPV is just a number, another way to analyze and look at data. That is not how we sort. And as for now, we have found that the average prospect power values of the entire class is the most accurate way to evaluate a class. Is it perfect? No, it's not, but it's the most accurate way without adding partiality and keeping partiality out of the evaluation system. This is the most accurate way to rank classes, and we'll come back to that here in just a little bit. But with that being said, talking about one of the top prospects in the class, that's Mac Pedraza. She is not one of the top prospects in the class, but she is one of the top evaluators in the class. But Abby Vanderwall is joining us. Abby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. We're good. Mac, how are you doing?
I'm good. It was a good little break. I went and grabbed a little sip of water, ready to go. Finish up the show with a great gal, a top recruit.
That's right.
Texas player.
Abby, congratulations on making it official.
Thank you. It was a fun day.
Yeah. Did you sign early this morning, or when did you sign the papers?
Yeah, I signed like 11 a.m. probably. So right, late morning.
You thought you'd keep the staff sweating it out a little bit?
Yeah, we got it sent up at 10 a.m. and I was so had to wait until class was over and then ran to the office and did it.
Yeah, the fun, that darn class getting in the way. But talk about, excuse me, first of all, talk about your class in general, your class in general, as to overall. And you guys are pretty close. You've known each other for quite a while. So just talk about the tightness of you guys as a group.
Yeah, I've known Callie for 3 years now, so we've gotten a lot closer over the last year and a half for sure. And I've known Kari for like 2 years, Addie for 3 years. I've known Taylor for a while, so we're really, really tight already, which I think will really help us from the get-go. And I'm just so excited to go in with them. It's definitely makes the transition a lot more comfortable, just having them there, going so far. So.
Yeah, when going in with you being, I guess, really the only outsiders, if you will, you're the only one from outside state lines, the only tourist, I guess. But what was it about Texas for you that made you decide to head there?
Yeah, so I went to the camp right before June 15. I immediately fell in love with the culture, the campus, just everything felt right. And I knew after leaving there that if I didn't go there, I'd regret it. So I knew that it was the place for me for sure.
I love that. That's cool. Was it one of those like right place? You just like, you walked on campus and you're like, oh, this is where I want to be.
Totally. It was, for sure.
Did you get to talk to any of the players before you committed, or like any girls that play there? Like, how did you get a good feel for the culture?
Yeah, I got to talk to a lot of the girls at the camp, like Ella Swindle and Emma Halter and Mari, just all of them. And they were incredible. I love them. And I actually got to talk to Logan Eggleston too, I love her. She's amazing. And you probably know her too, but she's awesome. And I think talking to her, same position, I'm like going to play exactly what she did. And yeah, I was definitely really comfortable with her too.
Yeah, she's the best of the best. That's a good one to get a little bit of advice from. I don't know. This might you might not know who this is. Have you ever heard of the name Megan Courtney?
I don't think so.
Okay, but go look her up. She played at Penn State. We were talking about our PPV page earlier about outside hitters, and you're our second outside hitter on that list with your PPV. And I was like, one of the things I think you play a lot like, yeah, there we go. There's our PPV chart. But I was saying that you play a lot like Megan Courtney. She played back in the day when Penn State went on that streak, and they're really talented. Like she's one of those players. But go look her up. She's an old school Penn State player. You remind me a lot of her. She's got a whip of an arm like you do. You hang and you hit the ball really well. And I think you're going to she had a really great career. She played in the USA gym, all that stuff. So I think it's definitely a compliment, but you'll have to go look her up.
Yeah, for sure. I will.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about volleyball stuff. I take the volleyball side. Darren asks the recruiting questions, but so I want to know about your game. Talk to me about, I've watched a little bit of film. I know a little bit, but talk to me about what parts of your game you're excited to implement on the Texas floor. That's like you said, Logan Eggleston, that's a big name outside hitter. Maddie Skinner is another big name outside hitter that you're following in the footsteps of. How are you going to use your game to kind of change a few things? You never want to be somebody else, but also adapt to the Texas volleyball style.
Yeah. I like to hit a lot of different shots. I like sharp 4-4. I like high line. Like, I really try to switch it up. And I think that once I get in the Texas gym, I'm just going to be going after high hands and just going for it, because I've been working a lot on it now, and being like in the USA gym last year and this year, I learned that like that's really what works at that level. And I think that's for sure what I'm going to be really focusing on as soon as I get there.
Tooling, a whole bunch of tooling. Have you learned the tip where you like press into the block and then push it off the outside?
Yeah,
you got that.
I love that.
Yeah,
one.
That's a good one. That's gonna be that's a big outside hitter. If you can get that down, nobody can beat you, because you have the upper hand every single time. I love it. That's good stuff. Well, I'm excited to see you on that court. Like, I think your play and your style of play could really fit into that Texas lineup pretty early. I mean, they're going to lose some outside hitter power. They've got a deep bench, but it'll be good to see how your abilities fit into that court.
Abby, what do you talk? They talk about that with the culture, and we asked Coach Reyes this with Nebraska, but I talked to Coach Hunt, Coach Elliott about that, because I want to know what is that pitch when they're recruiting the top 10 athletes every year, right? And next year, Henley Anderson's coming, and you're all at the same camp, and you're in the USA gym, and the year after that, there'll probably be somebody else who's, well, let me look at my rankings and see. But what do they tell you when you're there and they're bringing in the best of the best every year? What's the sales pitch that they talk to you about?
Yeah, so I think the thing that really got me was when they went on is how they care about me more as a person than as a volleyball player. And I think that just really hit home for me, because I think it's really important to not put your identity in one thing and just really work hard at a lot of different areas of your life. And I truly thought that was the biggest thing for me, because yes, it's great to be a good volleyball player, but I really want to be a good person too. So.
Let me ask you this, Abby. They talk about culture at all? I mean, or do you have examples of the Texas culture that you can talk about?
Yeah, I think just the gym. When you're in the gym, there's just a vibe around the entire atmosphere. Like, Mac, I don't know if you've played. You played at Texas. You know that it's really rowdy and loud in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
my collegiate career at Ohio State did end at the Greg. It wasn't the Elite Eight, so like I'm okay with it. It was an okay end, but that's a little dagger to the chest. Thanks for that, Abby.
Sorry, Mac. But yeah, I think like the energy in the gym, the girls are just really encouraging each other, and they're like going after it, and they're really competitive. And I was just like, yeah, I want to get in this. Like when I was on my visit, I was like, okay, I want to like get me in this game. That type of vibe for sure.
Yeah. More so, I was talking about like the off the court. I guess what I was getting at was there's got to be more than on the court. And like I had heard the story, this year's roster, there's a gal who's never even played, and she was highly recruited like you are, right? And she's going to graduate. She's never even played, but she stuck around because, you know, of the culture in Austin and being around the program. And that's different than a lot of places where, you know, you don't play, you transfer. And we talk in our recruiting series that every program will say the word culture in the recruiting pitch, right? Like everybody says culture. There's only a few programs that practice culture. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, because I hear about culture a lot with Texas, if you have any examples of just Texas culture and how it's different.
Yeah, I think just surrounding the university, there's just so much pride for like just wearing that, and it's such a big deal to so many people. And I feel like we like uphold the culture by just being friendly to anybody we see, and just yeah, I don't know. I think it's just really important to really focus on the importance of I don't really know where I'm going with that, but just like being a Longhorn is not taken lightly, and I think that's really important.
I think that makes a ton of sense. I think exactly what you're saying is you've got a name on the back of your jersey and it's your last name, but you got to rep the name that's on the front of the jersey first, because that's what you represent first. It's the greater good of Texas. That's what you guys represent. You want to be upstanding human beings and represent the name on the front of the jersey before you are selfish and think about the name on the back of the jersey. I think I've heard that before about the Texas program, and just that like it's bigger than the name. It's bigger than your own name. It's a group and it's a family, and that's what Texas volleyball's culture is trying to create. So it's cool to hear, like I've heard that story before, like something like that. And for a recruit to know that, that's a big deal. You know, like a lot of times girls that are in the program can tell you a little bit about their culture, but then for a recruit who's not even, you haven't stepped foot on campus, you haven't taken a day of classes yet, but you know their culture, that's a big testament to Texas volleyball and what they're trying to create there.
Yeah.
Talk about playing with Kari, and they bring you in where that's a little bit different, where, I mean, if we bring this up, where, I mean, that's kind of odd. Number one and number two, literally in the country, and same position, going to the same school. Have they talked about that playing? Because to me, you guys have really different games.
Yeah.
You know, because you guys have been in the USA gym together. Talk about how you complement each other, even though you play the same position.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Kari. We get along really, really well. And I think especially for position, like even like this spring, we were roommates for USA, and we were just like talking about how excited we are to just go play together and ball out and compete with each other. Like, even though we're the same position, same class, which is very rare, we're gonna go all out. We're gonna cheer for each other no matter what happens. And there's no like beef or anything between us. Like we just love being around each other, and we're definitely gonna make each other better as we go through the process.
Well, that'd be a pretty nice 1-2 combo for like 4 years, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be cool. That's what's going to be cool, is to watch you two develop together. And like you said, like, she's fun to work with and to learn from. And I'm sure you guys have learned different things from each other as well, like from coaches, but from each other too. So it's going to be cool to watch the two of you develop and see you guys probably do a little bit of that 1-2 punch, be dominant on the outside. I would not want to face Texas and have both of you guys. It's like sometimes you're like, okay, we got to let's get through these 3 rotations so we can get the outside hitter to the back row. And then it's like, oh crap, here comes another dominant outside hitter to the front row. It's like it's never ending. So that'll be pretty cool to see.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right about being unselfish. That's what I get from Kari. She's all about winning and very mature, and that can probably tell you need more than 2. Bodies break down at the college level. There's wear and tear. You don't go 4 years without bumps and bruises and rolled ankles and strained muscles, and it just happens. And depth is so big. But so January, right?
Yep.
And are you guys all going in January?
All of us. I think Taylor's staying until the end of the year. So 4 of the 5 of us.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be good. What are you looking forward to that? I think the January dynamic is always different, and some people have like one they feel very passionately in one way or the other. I went in January too, and I had some experience, but I'm always interested to hear what mid-years, what are you thinking? What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think the 2 things I'm telling people is just getting the swing of things, just of college, the schedule of like the lifts and everything like that. And then also just creating connections and relationships with the current girls there are the 2 big.
Really good expectations, because there's so many kids that go into mid-year and they're like, I want to learn as much as possible and get as good at this as possible. I want to fine-tune this and this and this. And it's like, okay, you need to learn how to be a college kid first, and then you can like kind of get in the swing of things. But that's what's so difficult about college volleyball, is you get there so late. I mean, you can't start working with the coaches until August if you go like truly. So it's really tough to get into the swing of being a college kid and learn everything and be ready to start. So for mid-years, I feel like if your whole group is going, it's a really good scenario. So that'll be good for you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just the whole transition to college life and to get that all out of the way, is so huge. Let you go. And we'll let you go on this. Does it, because you've been there so much and so close to all the other ones, do you almost feel like you're a little bit of a Texan already? Or is it going to be weird leaving home?
Not gonna lie, I do already say y'all, and some people look at me, what in the world? But in the Midwest, it's very, very weird. Mac probably knows.
Oh yeah,
it's weird if you say y'all. So I have.
Where do you think I live, Abby? Where do you think I live?
Do you live in the Midwest too?
South Dakota. I'm right in the.
He's right in the heart of it.
Yeah. Oh man, you're right.
I say y'all though from going to Kentucky. I say y'all just to make people roll their eyes at me, but yeah, you're right. But are you excited though? Are you excited to skip the Chicago winter?
Oh, absolutely. That's like the highlights for me, especially going mid-year. Just 60 instead of -20. So
yeah.
Listen now, and the Midwest, Zach. Zach grew up in the Midwest in South Dakota. Now he lives in Phoenix, and he just gave the thumbs up. He gets it. But so here's what I said, and then other Big Ten coaches get upset. But there's certain people in the class of 26 that went to school in, let's say, warmer parts of the country, and now they're doing the opposite. They're coming to colder parts of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And they haven't visited yet. And I'm just telling them, the northern parts of the Big Ten in January are not Texas and I just can't explain it.
No, it'll be a culture shock for them.
So Abby, just tell them it's a cold you just can't explain.
Yeah, you get used to it. I've had it for 18 years.
Not when you've lived in Texas for 18 years. I don't think you do.
Yeah, fair enough. She did the smart thing. She went south and found the warmer weather, and the SEC, you won't have to deal with much colder weather. I mean, as cold as it gets, I think you're looking at like Kentucky, which you'll be fine.
Okay, good.
Now when it's 135 in the summer, maybe, Abby,
I'll take that every day.
I know. They know how to handle the heat down there. We know how to handle the cold up here. So I think we'll be
right. You just come home no, they won't let you come home this summer. But I was going to say, you won't complain in the wintertime. But good luck for you when you're going. What about January? I didn't check the roster. All-American or?
Yeah, I'm doing the All-America game. It'll be super, super fun.
It will be. There's got to be a couple Longhorns in that.
Yeah, Callie is, and Kari is, and Taylor is, and we're so excited. Just hang out with everybody. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it will be a fun time. That's a nice place to be in January as well, Orlando. So
yeah,
nice little vacation before you head down. Well, enjoy it. You've been fun. Both a few times I've gotten to interview you. You will fit in. You will fit in well. I know they're excited. I just think that Mac and I talked about this. I think their coaching staff is going to be excited to get a big group of freshmen in and just kind of work with you guys and the freshmen this year and that big new nucleus and just kind of, just work with you guys as young pups and teach you the Texas way. So best of luck to you. And maybe after you get off, hang out, and we are going to reveal our All-American list, which I've heard in volleyball circles. There's the Under Armour All-American list, which is cool. But the cool kids said the VB All-American, Adrenaline All-American list is what they really want. So hang out. Right. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll make that in a little bit. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It was good to meet you.
Take care. Good luck in Texas. All right. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
All right. Abby Vanderwall.
You won't get me doing that. I'll let you take that hand signal.
Mac, you got to listen, life's too short to hold grudges.
All love. Oh, I see Zach down there. Zach knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's because Zach, I wanted him to go to a game at Texas and do that, and then his little rear end will get whooped, and then he won't do that. Listen, you just got to have fun with it. College is all about that. You got to do their little signals. Matthew McConaughey, he's a big booster. Now they sell T-shirts that say, all right, down there.
I like Matthew McConaughey. I like it. I'm just not going to do it. If I do it, it'll be upside down, and I won't do that today. They
have some really cool traditions there.
They do. I think they've got a good program. I mean, I'd say so. With their recruits, and they seem like really good people too. So it's one of those things.
When you're on top, people want to tear you down. They're going to find things, they don't like about you, and so be it. I deal on a one-to-one level on how they treat me, and they've been really good to me and gone above and beyond. And for as small as I am on the volleyball, ocean, they've gone above and beyond, and I appreciate that. And that's that. I'll never get invited back though, because they're 0-2 for the first time since 1958 in the Gregory. But
Whoa.
it's just cool when they sing "The Eyes of Texas." That's pretty cool.
It's a cool program. They've got good history. I cannot deny that. It still hurts a little bit to lose to them, but you know what?
Yeah.
I will support them moving forward. I always love good volleyball.
I'm team to team. I just don't love. I don't love this year's team. I don't, and I don't love how they. I just don't love how they play. And
The Texas team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're working through a lot of stuff. I really like Maddie. I know that's not a hot take. I think everybody really likes
Maddie. Who?
Skinner. I think her and I, it breaks my heart a little bit because she was my recruit on a recruiting trip at Ohio State, and we really thought we had her. We thought she was going to come be a Buckeye. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, moving on. There's let's talk about some of our individual things in this class, and we have a lot of other awards and other things to talk about as we wrap up. We almost made it through the marathon. 35 minutes left as we gather some people. Thanks for tuning back in to the live stream. But it's been cool. Thank you, everybody who has commented today. Not one inappropriate comment, which how cool is that? Some really cool comments from people. And again, we are going to pop this up. Thank you to TIY Products and for sponsoring. Like we said, it's our first sponsor we've had with VB Adrenaline. Athletes, we talk about not being afraid to hear the word no. God knows we've heard the word no here when asking for sponsors. So TIY Products, thank you so much for sponsoring our show and helping us get this on the air and just helping. Otherwise, it's been all volunteer, us volunteering our time. And also, you guys don't get to see us. Hopefully, NC Academy, you got this blaring on all the TVs tonight, but Casey is our social media gal, and she is a saint. All of these edits, all of these slides Casey has done, and everything the last 2 months, she is amazing, and she isn't on camera, but she does this, and we are nowhere without her. So Casey, thank you so much. Not only for all the work you put into this, but everything else. So one more time, we're going to zip through just our player rankings, our player ratings, and you guys can see this again as we go through just kind of our top 10 as we reviewed these earlier and just some of the names we talked on.
Oh, really quick before you say anything, do you see the heart in the top left corner? Do you see who it's from?
No.
Go look at it.
Oh, Casey.
Shout out. She's following along. Love that.
We love the love. Yeah. Awesome job, Casey. Thank you. As we talk about some of these players, we didn't get to Reese Dunkel earlier, but that was Reese was another decommit from the Northwestern class and a late pickup, a second middle added to that Stanford class just to add some more depth in that class. And then the setters, as we talked about, Kira Musgrove, we haven't touched on her, but the setter in that class for Texas A&M, Charlotte, we've talked about. Tekla Brown, talk about her as one of the steals of this class, but LSU, Mac, I don't know you know about LSU, but I met their staff at Nationals, and maybe it was because they invited me down for Cajun food, but I really like them, and I like a couple of their recruits a lot in the 26 class, but I love their class, and
Yeah, I actually know one of their assistant coaches, their recruiting coordinator, Jill Wilson is she was the recruiting coordinator at Ohio State when I was there. She came in for only maybe 1 year, but she is just one of the nicest, sweetest people you will ever meet. So it's no surprise that people want to go and play for her. And all of the reviews of Jill Wilson was that she is one of the best recruiters in the game. And I think that has a lot to do with just the fact that she is such a good person and her heart is so pure and she wants the best for that LSU program. She's an alum, so she knows what it takes to play there. And so I think she's doing a really good job of bringing in the people that know how to play there as well.
Yep. And it's just that program we wait to, or picking up some more wins and get it going. And Isabella Barden at Purdue was a late signing, signed during Triple Crown, I think, last year. And man, we're going to talk about a setter in the 26 class and 27 class who's just freakish athletic. But Isabella Barden has the same numbers. You go check out her player profile on her site. Amazing. Touching, I think, like 10-7. And played for the Metro. Late signing for Purdue, but I love what she produces athletically. And this was the one, Mac, that we were texting about earlier that I said, yeah, I can't believe she's under recruited. And Purdue staff was like, yeah, hopefully she's the next you. But
I love it.
10-7?
Not quite. No, I got 10 foot. I touched 10 foot one time in my career, my senior year at Ohio State.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy is a little dual sport beach. And then the Sadie Pogue from Wake Forest. Wake Forest, the class hopefully we get to. I'm going to address these. Let's open. Okay. Britton Lyon, we did evaluate here, just haven't got quite down to the score. We did watch a little bit of film on Britton Lyon, Texas Tech. Setter, just haven't got into that class yet. But let's address this a little bit. And got the comments, love them, appreciate them, thought we might get this. And it says, Campbell is the number one setter. What? And it says, without a doubt. And then it says she could literally be an opposite just as good as she is a setter. She probably could be. So could Logan Parks.
Logan Parks definitely could be an opposite. In fact, she has been an opposite and she's been an outside.
Right. And thus, my point about maybe that's why Reese Messer is the best setter in the class. And take heat for that. But I just think Reese Messer has always been overlooked in this class. And I'm not the only one that thinks so. Campbell fits what Nebraska loves, a taller setter. She's very much like Bergen, right? The taller setter, and there is nothing wrong with that. I really like what Reese brings to the table, and I just think she's a winner.
Yeah, I think you're not the only one that's seen that. I mean, like, these numbers don't just come from anywhere. I mean, and you can look at the numbers go down. You look at Logan Parks at 289 PPV and then Reese Messer 287. There's two numbers off there. It's the variability in that is so slight. And then you go down to Campbell, and between there, you're looking at four numbers. They're all the number one for a different program. You know, it's exactly what Jalen Reyes was talking about earlier, is you got to figure out the story that goes with the kid. And that's the same thing we're doing here, is the 300 PPV kid could be the 300 PPV kid for two programs, but the 297 for two other programs. You know, it's one of those things that, like, we're getting as close as we can, and our expert evaluators are getting as close as they can. And when you look at the three of those people and they're off by 4 PPV points, and they're all in that top category, right up there at the top. Those are really skilled setters that are going to make impacts no matter where they're at.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Nebraska got the first choice, and Nebraska offered their first choice.
Look at that, a respectful
Yeah.
response back too. I really appreciate the respect in the chat.
Well, yeah, this has been good. This has been really good conversation. I'm just explaining that
Maybe
when
adrenaline fans are good people, it sounds like.
these guys have been, this guy, guy or gal is really good with posting respectful and thought out, educated responses. I really enjoy these guys. And Logan Parks was Stanford's choice. That was their choice, right?
Right.
Logan was looked at by 4 or 5 other schools. Her choice was Stanford. That was Stanford's number one choice for a setter. Reese was SC's number one choice for a setter, right? She was 3. I just think that when you look at the athletic ability overall, Logan would be the number one athlete, right? As the number one athlete of 3.
For sure. I mean, we're looking at setters, though. I mean, this is the PPV for setters. So, like, Logan's probably the best athlete, but I don't think her 289 PPV, I think, is representative of her setting ability and her ability to be a good setter, because I think the fact that she has played different positions and she's kind of done it all. She's been a right side, she's been an outside. That's going to give her the upper hand when she has to go be a setter, and she's going to run an offense. She's following in the footsteps of Cammie Minor, who is a fantastic athlete and one of the best, if not the best setter in NCAA right now. So she's going to have a big feat ahead of her, but her athletic ability and what she's done in the past, I think, gives her the upper hand in her collegiate game, and her potential in the college game at Stanford especially is why her PPV puts her at the top of this list.
If you had to put a chip down on who has the best chance to play day one as a freshman, who would you take?
Reese Messer.
Yeah.
I think that's easy. I think I don't know much about Brad Keller. Talked about his setter that he's got there right now. I don't know about her. He said that she's really pushing their gym right now. And I mean, they've got Mia Tuaniga on their court right now running the show. So she knows what she's doing, and they don't need to have a backup really ready to go unless Mia got hurt or something like that. So we're not going to see much of this other girl that they have right now at USC. But when Reese gets there, she's definitely going to push her quite a bit. And I think Reese has the best chance to make an impact from day one.
Yeah. And that's what, and you're right. That's what, And if they do, again, we said this earlier too. If you're playing multiple freshmen in the Big Ten, that's usually not a great thing. They take your lumps in year one. You don't always want that, but that I just like her more than people, and there's others that do too. I'm just saying sometimes. And we haven't even talked about. She got held up, and we didn't get an interview with her. But the missing piece, I think, Cassie O'Brien is the as far as point wise with Kentucky, they didn't have a big class, and she was by far their biggest sign and the one they needed to be the biggest. If she pans out and could have the biggest impact, I think, as a freshman, they get healthy, they keep their nucleus, right? Their middles progress like they should. They got thrown into some bad spots.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop there. But they grow up like they should. They stay healthy. And O'Brien does what, if she wins the job and does what they think she could do, that, I tweeted this earlier, that could be the biggest storyline nationally of any setter next year. Because if she can do what, say, Bergen Riley did last year, they could be talking about being a top 8 team in the country next year.
Yeah. I agree. She's really impressive, and she's another one of those kids that hits as well. She's an offensive threat as a hitter as well as a setter on her club team. Like, she's kind of done a little bit of everything in the past. So, like, I think that aspect of her game, again, is only going to help her. Setters who have done more than just setters who have been hitters too, end up being better setters because they know what a hitter wants.
Yeah. And she's used to it. She played on the perfect club team. They were all like undersized and nobody talked about them. And they just kind of won. So she's perfect for Kentucky. She can just go there and she knows exactly what it's like. So literally when we talked about her, she was the perfect fit there. So liberos, we talked about Anaya Warren earlier. Purdue put a solid class together. We have her and Kruger. I don't know. You tell me how to evaluate bros. All I know is Taylor Decker went to the Under Armour combine in Kansas City, right? So she goes to the Midwest that has all these Midwest bros there. I believe Anaya Warren, I think, went to the one in Indy, but for Triple Crown, right? So there's a lot of talent. She goes to the one out there run by, who runs that?
Where?
Mike Langenfelter, right? Runs.
Easy.
So Munciana, right? Like
libero.
And she is the first one on the first day picked. She impresses on day one, and they're usually a little stingy right at the beginning, and then so she goes and impresses day one in the Midwest, in the heart of Munciana. That told me something.
That's a big compliment in volleyball, in Libero Central.
Right. Even though I think maybe more of them were at Indy, but still. She impressed everybody there. That's all I needed. I like this. Callie Pond was kind of she's going to K-State. Addie Applegate, we've talked about. Simon Fukumoto was a good late sign. I get dizzy sometimes doing all the bros. We'll get into that some other time, how you evaluate the grade.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
Liberos are tough.
All right. Then we go opposites. Minnesota's class is up 5-6 class. They're needed. And I like what they did. That's another school that really installed, I think, their culture this year with their 2 pins and Carly Gilk. Great decision. She talked earlier. We interviewed her how she wasn't looking with the old staff at all about staying in Minnesota. She at all.
Wow.
And they convinced her to come to camp, they could visit, and was all in. She was fun at nationals last year to watch the little coaching carousel come to her court.
Yeah.
They had a couple coaches that would do every coach on staff would go to her match. Some coaches said just one. Interesting. Taryn Morris, another one. Lexus Ewing, who I think you referred to earlier. Huge.
Yeah. I mean, what do we expect?
Ohio State, we got this question. Does Ohio State have any top recruits? Navia Guthier. But it wasn't a great let me pull up their class. My website isn't working. It wasn't a great let me bring them up.
They've got a libero out of
Maya Stoller out of Elite Club. So 179 average. Navia Guthier, 213 PPV. Maya Stoller, 146 PPV. 179 average, which I guess we had them. Let's see where we had them. Can I get them?
They only had 2 recruits this year?
2. Yeah.
So it's tough to even see. I mean, you look at what they have this year, and I think that the recruits that they have are maybe not performing as well as they would like them to. They started out with a big time. They've got a lot of injuries on the Ohio State team. There's a lot of injuries there, but I don't think we can blame it all on that. I just think that freshman class that they came in pretty highly highly recruited class, I guess you could say. They were pretty highly ranked, if that's what we say. But I just think that there's been a lot of injuries, a lot of freshmen being freshmen. There's a lot of youth on that team. So that class was supposed to be really, really top tier. I just don't think it's panning out as they would have expected it to. But I think with a year under their belt next year to look a little different. And then I think the following year they'll look to get a bigger class. So their 2026s will be a little bit bigger because right now they have like 5 freshmen.
I don't think they're 20. We're 26 classes, and
it'll be bigger numbers wise.
Here. Well, you guys can do this too if you have a
maybe not. It looks like they've only got 3.
If you have a membership to vbadrenaline.com, this could do this. Yeah, they only have 3 and they have a 143 average. So they have 3 orange.
Maybe I've got my scarlet and gray colored glasses on and maybe. I just want to see what I want to see with my Buckeyes. I
don't know. They have the setter they needed, but suspended down a couple. I mean, but who knows? So 2 and 3 is what they've had, but they maybe they're ready to load up in the portal. Who knows? So there's different ways to there's different ways to build a team as SMU's showing. That was one of our questions. We go here and somebody said, it sucks about Ryan Hunter's injury. Her ceiling and potential is out through the roof. Carly Gilk, impressive. With Kenny, Minnesota, it could be real good. They need those hitters. But what we liked was the middle. Thompson is really important to that class as well, as we look through. So continuing to go through there, skipping. All right. Here are the programs that we thought really won 2025 recruiting. We've touched on a lot of them through the day. SC, obviously, we've talked about Duke, interviewed coach. A&M. Coach wasn't able to make it. Great excuse. The recruits were late getting their paperwork sent in at our original time. And so coach was like, hey, I can't come on. We don't have the paperwork. I can't talk about them. Good call. We don't want to be the reason for any of that. And so then they have a match tonight. And then we talked about Vandy and then Wake Forest with 3 solid recruits with 205 average. And these, we talk about programs like this, just adding solid talent, right? And just stockpiling solid talent. And they have one of my favorite 26s with their setter out of Michigan coming in, Emma Keeping. And I like what they're doing, but they have their Bailey Warren out of Texas, Houston Skyline, who plays with Kentucky's new setter at a 226, and she's kind of the star of the class for Wake Forest. So good class for them as far as who we had winning. Anybody else that jumped out to you as far as a class that you just really liked other than who we had here? Of course, we left the big dogs, the big dogs that we've already talked ad nauseum about. But
yeah, we could talk about how Texas has an insane class, but I really go back to the fact that Vandy is starting a program. Like, this is their very first year. And if you didn't get to hear what Anders Nelson had to say, you'll have to, I think it's taped. You can go back and look at it on Twitter or something. But he just spoke so eloquently about his program and what they're doing and what they're starting, and the fact that these guys have a top 10 recruiting class, like the fact that their recruits are up there within the best of the nation just goes to show how well they are recruiting, how good the people are, and how how well they're doing with such a difficult task. It's not easy to start a program. We talked about how, like coaches go to a different program and they're like, oh, we're starting from ground zero. Like, no, you're not. You have a program. It existed before you got there. Anders Nelson's program at Vanderbilt did not exist. It still doesn't exist yet. So he's recruiting girls to a place that doesn't exist. And he's got a top 10 recruiting class. Like, that's just goes to show how good of a job he's doing with what he has to work with. And I mean, those girls will be into something that they don't even realize yet what they're getting themselves into, but it will serve them well. And I think that they're going to have a really successful program just seeing how well they're starting off.
Well, and I think they will admit, right? Like you have recruiters and then you have trainers, in-game coaches. Mm-hmm. They are recruiters, all three of them, mm-hmm. right? And Anders helped put together the national championship team at Kentucky. Yep. He was the recruiter. That's what he did. I mean, Plum, God bless her. She's into the training, but she's a recruiter. She's a relationship builder. And they talked about, he already talked about Russell, Corbelli, lifelong volleyball family, but he's young, energetic. They're recruiters, right? They mm-hmm. do well. They're ones that want to extend the recruiting period. They want to build relationships. They want mm-hmm. to get you on campus. And they want to get you on campus because it's Nashville, for crying out loud. Like, come on.
Can I get a 1 year back to go play at Vandy just to go spend a year in Nashville?
Right. Like, it's get them there. They're going to build a program. They're going to build. Now, it's harder to get transfers there, which mm-hmm. is going to hurt them, but they're going to build a program. They're going to build it faster, sooner than later. But I'm not surprised now where the training, the in-game, that part remains to be seen, and they will be honest about that. But mm-hmm. they're going to get talent there, right. And maybe that's a little sooner than they even thought. But what I love about them is they're probably ticked off they're not like 7th in the country. That's just being young and naive. All right, our All-Americans. Now, here's the other thing: we take partiality out of it. Our All-American teams are very, very simple. PPV, okay? Pick anything. PPV, 250 and higher. 250 and higher, and 245 and higher is an All-American, okay? 245 and higher is an All-American, 245 and higher makes our All-American team. So 290 and up to 300 is the first team. Kari Spears, our player of the year with the highest team. So there are our first 5, our first team. Congratulations to those ladies. When we tell you that 2 schools have an advantage, we are not lying to you people, right? Like it just is. So when Jalen tells us the old wives' tale about them and 20 other schools, no, it's them and like one other school that compete. But it was a nice story, and he almost had me. And then where is our other? Ooh, we skipped one. Okay, so there's a first team. Let me get. Hold on. Thought we had our second team in there somewhere. Let's get to our. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. We'll post our second. We will post our second and third teams later on our socials. Sorry about that. I thought we had them pulled up. I didn't download them. Our second and third teams will be posted later. And they're the PPVs of 245 and higher make our All-American teams. And let me go back to finding our slide of my one other, hey, why didn't we recruit her? And see if I can find that. Matt, go ahead and give me some filler time. Just talk about your thoughts on our marathon day while I find that slide, if you would, please.
I have been impressed with the way that this day has gone so far. I wasn't sure exactly what it would look like starting off the day. I think it's honestly been a big success. Nobody's ever done this for volleyball before. So the fact that, you had an idea, Darren, and you took it and ran with it. And I think that that's a big testament to you and where you see the sport going. And there's a lot. There we go. There's our second teams. But like this whole thing has never been done before. So it's been a really cool day to kind of see it. And the feedback so far has been incredible.
Yeah, it's been good. The questions have been awesome. And like I said, we got everything but a cable network, right? We got everything but a cable network. This is just imagine this on your big TV. And if you stream it, you know what's coming next, everybody? Well, our second annual bracket breakdown show is coming. But next is coming the Manning cast. The Manning cast is coming next. But all right, why didn't we recruit this kid? All right, this segment is in a couple years. All right, these guys are going to be sitting around. These question askers are going to be sitting around with their buddies, and they're going to be watching a game. And these four ladies are going to be tearing it up at the next level. And they're going to be like, why didn't we recruit that kid? And they're going to look back and they're going to be like, who was all in on her? All right. And they're going to be playing for them. And we're going to be telling you why. And we told you so now. So first of all, Calissa Blackshear. Love this story. I am just walking around the Chicago Convention Center, and I just hear hey, you got to go over and check out this kid on this court. And I walk over, and she wears this headband when she plays. And she plays on Casey DeMaria's team out of California. Okay. And Casey DeMaria gets to swing like a lot. And so the first time I watch for like 35 minutes, and Calissa does nothing. She gets a couple blocks, but I don't see her do anything, run around, anything on offense. And I'm like, huh, what? And then somebody's like, just go back. You just got to go back. And I'm like, what kid am I supposed to be watching? Right. And because you know me, and you know me. And unless they just like slam dunk it, I don't know what's going on. And she gets one slide, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's the kid. And then she gets a block, and I get like two highlights. And I'm like, this kid? And they're like, yeah. I think she's really, really good. Kind of like an under the radar kid. I'm like, okay. And so then I go to NTDP in Christmas time. And I had tweeted, I'm just like, hey, this girl, supposedly under the radar, acting like I really know. But of course I don't. I'm just vomiting knowledge that somebody else told me, right? And I see her at Christmas, and the first day doesn't look good, like kind of timid, and will not so scared, like the most shy person in the world. So will not come close to me for an interview, right? And meet her dad, and he's like, yeah, I do her highlights. You want any highlights of her? And I'm like, yeah, could I get some? Because I never got to see her swing. First day MTDP doesn't do much. And I'm like, I really kind of like the person who told me this. Second day, I go back, And she was maybe the best person in the USA gym. I mean, on fire. And every time I've seen her since, she just gets better and better and better. And her confidence just keeps going up and up and up. And everybody I ask about her is just like, yeah, she is going to be legit at the next level. And Louisville got a steal in her.
I agree. I didn't get to, I mean, like you said, like her club team isn't top notch. Like there's not a ton of film out there to see, but the little bit I saw, like it took 2 highlights of her hitting really well to realize she's going to get on top of balls and hit balls down. She's going to be over top of blockers in anywhere she plays. I mean, yeah, I think she's going to be versatile. I think one of the biggest things that she's going to be able to do is hit balls from off the net. I think she's going to be able to, people are going to be able to run her. Whoever sets her is going to be able to run the middle from so far off the net that she's going to get a lot of kills over top of people because they're going to have to like dive in. So there's going to be no hands. I could go on about that. She's going to be really good.
Just the fact of I love those kids, and obviously everybody's like, God, such an idiot. I get it, I am. But I love a kid that no one is talking about, whatever rankings, right? You've never heard about her, the experts that are making all the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here the people that get paid to do this stuff know. And here she comes out of nowhere, and she's going to be a stud. And they're like, oh, what? She will be. And I love it because you can just see her confidence going up every time she's in a big gym. She holds her own. And this young lady, yes. And Dad, you send me all the highlight stuff you want. I freaking love this kid. Another one, this one. Koa Barnes. This, our little Duke setter, Charlotte Glass, loved to go to her. I watched her at Nationals. I thought her arm was going to drop off from swinging so much. Not sure what that's an OU. I was like, I'm not sure what she's chewing on there, but this is a huge pickup for Oklahoma. I don't know if it's because she's undersized as an outside, but she does everything. She did everything for Tribe Volleyball. I love this sign for Oklahoma.
For sure. She hits the ball really well. She's fast. She's got a whip of an arm. I mean, Charlotte Glass runs a fast offense, and she's up in the air ready to go with it. So I think that's going to be a good get for Oklahoma. I agree. She's definitely somebody people are going to be sitting on their couch wondering why that she's not on their team.
That's right. That's right. You could have had her at the bargain basement price of just one big emblem, I guess. Tennyson Fry, Zach. Zach was in the background. This was one. We love Tennyson Fry club season. Plays out of Idaho. Okay, the Idaho Crush, right? I think Idaho Crush. Going to Houston. We want to talk about this would have been a Nebraska type, 6'2", 6'1", setter, plays like this. Again, smaller club, but these guys were just one that never talked about. Love the way that she plays. Underrated. Just will go to Houston. I think a shot to get in their lineup potentially right away. Solid, again, like you talked about, can attack. One of those setters that can do a little bit of everything. Intense. She's a floor leader, just does all of those things. I think just somebody who didn't play in one of the largest clubs in one of those states, like our young gal from Oklahoma earlier, right? And of her, I just think she has a shot to make immediate impact at Houston. And I'm going on the limb with Tennyson Fire out of Idaho for the Idaho Crush.
No, I agree. I've watched some of her film. I think she's really good. She's really tall. She runs the offense at a high contact point, which allows her to go fast with everybody. And like you said, she's been a hitter before. She is a Nebraska type. You're really right about that. When you said that, like she's got the body posture to be a Nebraska type setter. And I think that's a steal for Houston. And Houston's got a good little team going for them right now. So she's going to fit in well with them, especially if she can run a fast offense. They're going to beat a lot of teams pin to pin.
There you go. I like when I'm just like, I like her. She plays hard. She's intense. And then Matt comes in with the actual volleyball equivalency of what she does. All right, Bailey Warren. Here's what I know she does. She's got about a 6-foot vertical. This girl she leaves and she comes down at about spring break time. And when she swings, she doesn't get cheated. Mac, tell the people what that really means.
I mean, she's beaten people. Like she's not just going up to go up and swing. Like she's beating the block. She's beating hitters down the line. She's got shots. She's bouncing balls. She's got springs in her feet. So she's over top. She kind of like, I like to use the term hang and bang. She jumps up and she's in the air, and it might be on her way down because she's so high and it's so hard to figure out where she's going to be, but she hangs in the air so well that she's able to bounce balls on top of people. So she's going to be dominant for Wake Forest. Like that's another steal for them. Like that's a big time. Like she could be anywhere else and probably be making an impact on those courts. And she's going to go there and absolutely destroy it and give them a good chance to build their program. That's one of those that we talk about is like a steal. They reached up and they grabbed one from maybe one of the classes or the tiers above what they're usually shooting for. They're usually shooting here at the mid-level, and they reached up here and they scored one up here. So that's a big snag for them. And I think she's going to do a lot for them.
And have a chance to come in right away. Like what Wake Forest is doing, especially they add their 26 class to another class. But we went over by 6 minutes with our time. We thank you, everybody who tuned in throughout the day. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. Again, if you liked our coverage and you subscribe or you don't subscribe, we did this all on our own time. We appreciate it. It is the first of its kind. And if you'd like to help us grow, we have a donate button on the site. It's called Friends of VB Adrenaline. And you can go and donate if you feel like it. And it's something that hasn't been done. Again, it was a lot of our time putting in because one of our mission statements is to put on big time media events like this for volleyball to help it grow. And again, it's what sports like football have had for 25, 30 years. And we believe volleyball athletes deserve this recognition. It was a starting point. We promised to get better. We promised to get bigger. We've done similar events like this. I don't think any have gone quite this well, but we've done things like College Game Day, our bracket special, and we will continue to do more, our June 15th show. And all of them, this is the first time we've had any kind of a sponsor at all. So thanks again to TIY Products for helping us out. But if you would like to be a friend of VB Adrenaline, go to our site, click the button, donate now. We greatly appreciate it. All of the money goes straight back in to helping us with our website, with our staffing, and going back into promoting our coverage, which goes right back into the kids. So we thank you. Again, athletes, parents, if you like some of the ideas, some of the insight we're giving about recruiting, it comes straight from the sources, straight from the people that get paid to do this for a living. Go to our website. There's a link. Our new educational series is called Straight Talk Recruiting. It's headed up by Mac. We've had a great first 2 weeks and some really positive feedback from the charter member families that have signed on. And we've made it so it's affordable for everybody. And it's just helping you be aware and more educated in your process. Mac, anything you want to add on that?
No, just that there's a lot of good information on there and we're continuing to grow it. And we gave a couple little teasers here and there throughout this live show about some things that we've talked about so far and some things that we're about to get going in this next month as well. So I think there's a lot of good information out there. And if there's any recruits or parents watching that are a little bit lost in this whole recruiting world, we want to empower you to be able to make the best decision for yourself and for your daughter. And that's what we're trying to do at Straight Talk. We're not trying to beat around the bush. We're going straight to the source and letting you know how to best make the best decision for you and for 4 years of what should be the best 4 years of your life and volleyball experience. So yeah, check it out. It's good stuff. There's an Instagram too. It's in our bio at VB Adrenaline, and you can find out more information about it there too.
We really are one of the few people in this whole youth sports racket that are not trying to get rich from this. We are trying to educate. We enjoy doing it. We're trying to pay the bills, and we're trying to make everybody better and improve the entertainment value, but also educate the athletes and the families while improving the sport and do our part. And we enjoy this, right? But we enjoy it when the athletes have a better experience, which improves the experience for everybody, right? And we're just doing our part. So this is it. And we have purposely made it so it's affordable for everybody. We could charge much, much more. We keep it at the price it is on purpose. And so check it out. And if 500 people do it, great. If 50 people do it, great. We'll help whoever's up for it, but it is definitely worth it. So give it a chance. And again, thank you to TIY Products for taking the chance on us and being the first sponsors that we've ever had here at VB Adrenaline. We hope it leads to more, but thanks to Andrea and her company. We see these all the time, so it's a extremely popular product. I don't know much about what it does with my hair, but we see them all over the volleyball circuit. So thank you to TIY Products for sponsoring our show today. And with that, the prospect value, Super 30. And that is it. The future is here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. For Mac Pedraza, I'm Darren Tipton. Check out our website. Subscribe if you liked what you saw. And we will be back as soon as tomorrow with much more recruiting information for the best info on college recruiting. Check out vbadrenaline.com. Good night, everybody. Thanks.